إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه.
If I wasn't a Muslim and I saw stuff on TV, I would also not be quite positive about Islam and Muslims. For us, America is a place where my family and I could flourish, live in peace, and ultimately keep our identity as Black African Muslims and have neighbors that could be white, blue, or red, and live with them and interact with them with respect and honor, but keep our identity and stay loyal and truthful to God. There are differences in our beliefs, but that's fine because in the human sense, we're all the same.
I remember the first time I ever flew on an airplane. As we flew across the country, I remember looking out the window the whole time, my nose just pressed against the glass, sort of surveying the land below me. I remember having this strange sense of duty to dedicate myself in some way to helping.
Opioid addiction reaching epidemic levels.
Fast-moving fires in parts of California.
Breaking news, at least 9 people killed overnight in a massacre.
As I grew older, I ended up raising a family and becoming a lawyer and ultimately becoming CEO of Chipotle Mexican Grill.
And it's a vision to change food culture.
One of the things I liked best was interacting with thousands and thousands of people over the years and really getting to know them. Loads of different people from very different walks of life. The more I got to know, the more convinced I was that, man, we're all very much the same in so many ways. And you wouldn't know that from what we see on TV or hear on the radio. All that stuff suggests that we're very divided, that we're not united at all, that we're all about disagreement, that we're all about arguing, that we're all about fighting. But I think the truth is just the opposite. There's a great deal more that unites us. What I want to do with this docuseries is to tell the stories of people who might never be seen or heard, and to help bring the wisdom from many people from many different walks of life so that everyone has access to it. In some ways, I'm still just that small boy with my nose pressed against the glass, looking down at this beautiful place we all live, and wanting to do some good. Wanting to demonstrate that there's a lot more that unites us than divides us. Flying over the heartland of the United States and the rolling hills of southern Ohio, the skyline of Columbus appears in the distance. This welcoming city of nearly 1 million people was my home for many nights during my life as a CEO, and as I arrive and walk down its streets, I'm again reminded how this growing city has kept its small-town feel. It's home to people who are quick to look you in the eye and offer you a warm welcome. Perhaps the warmth of its people is why Columbus has long been welcoming refugees and immigrants from around the world. Columbus now has one of the largest populations of immigrants from the country of Somalia. I arrive here with curiosity as to what drove so many Somali immigrants to travel thousands of miles to arrive at this city so far from any coast. Why bypass so many closer cities to make their way to Columbus? What's it like for Muslim immigrants when they arrive in America with its different language, customs, and culture? Do they experience the racism and Islamophobia, which I so often hear about in the media? As a lawyer, I know of many legal hurdles immigrants face in coming here, but I'm also curious about the challenges they confront as they begin their new life as Americans. Having never visited a mosque, I wasn't sure what to expect, but right away I was struck by its elegant simplicity. Instead of the lofty ceilings and rows of pews I grew up with in Christian churches, I saw instead a large room, wide open, nearly free of furniture, where hundreds of people removed their shoes, flowed in at their own pace, and bowed together, joining the calming prayers being sung in Arabic by their pastor, Imam Asad Ahmed.
من الجنة والناس.
Thank you very much for inviting us into the mosque today and for letting us hear your sermon.
Yeah, pleasure.
Is a sermon the right word, or is there?
Yes, that would be.
Okay.
In Islamic terminology, we would say it khutbah,
Okay.
but sermon. Yeah, sermon, khutbah, same thing.
That's the best translation
Yeah.
for it. So this is my first time ever being in a mosque in my whole life.
Wow.
Today. So,
Wow.
but it's not your first time. You grew up in a mosque, didn't you?
No, I grew up attending mosques and prayer services at mosques. My father was a preacher. My grandfather was a junior preacher. Most of my brothers are preachers or callers to Islam.
Is a caller something different than a preacher?
No, a caller is someone who invites people to the fold of Islam and to the message of Islam. So you could call it a sheikh, an imam, a preacher,
Okay.
a cleric, your choice.
So is this typical of a mosque? Just a floor and everyone is on the floor kneeling or sitting or standing?
Correct.
And I noticed that people during the sermon, sometimes they'd stand up and then go back down again. Why is that?
The prophetic tradition is that when you come into a mosque, you should pray first, 2 sets of bowing and prostrating before you sit. So you may have seen someone that came and was doing that, and then somebody else came a minute later
Yeah.
and was doing that. So
I noticed people were coming in the whole time.
that's right. This is just one of many, maybe 12, 13 mosques in the Columbus area, and they're all full. They're all full.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tells you how much religion is a big deal in the Muslim Somali community.
I think that there's a thought amongst maybe a lot of people who grow up in America who don't know many Muslims that Muslims are quite different. Do you feel that Muslims are very different than everyone else in the country?
No, I don't. There's a difference of opinion. There's a difference in God's creation, the different colors, the different classes, the different cultures. This is all part of the might and the power of God. And to respect what God chose for the world to look like is to respect God.
What are your thoughts about like the Taliban and so forth? You hear about them disrespecting women or abusing women. What do you know about all that?
I've heard that the Taliban did not let women go to school. That's very un-Islamic. That's ungodly.
But is there some way in which women occupy a lesser role?
The rules and the roles of men are clear, and those of women are clear. Women can go to school just like men can go to school. They can work just like men can work. They deserve respect just like sons and men deserve respect. Now, look, I can't speak for every Muslim just like you can't speak for every white person.
Right.
I'm
Of
sure
course.
there are some people that do terrible things to their women or their daughters, but I'm talking about Islam as a faith and the system of Islam. Absolutely not. This notion that Muslim women are lower or are denied some basic rights, I only hear that in some Western media.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that comes from a place of extreme colonial arrogance that only looks at people that does what, they think
What they're
is-
used to.
Exactly. And anyone who does other than that is somehow inferior, oppressed, forced. That's pure nonsense. When you speak to real people in real places with real faces, you'll see the truth.
I was born and grew up in Somalia. I left at the age of 19.
Oh, okay. So most of your life has been there.
Yes, I did.
And why did you leave?
I was a journalist, and there was an extremist group that didn't want journalists, especially women, to be a journalist. They didn't want us to tell the truth, what they were doing, and have other people's opinion. And they just wanted to shut everybody off, and we didn't follow the rules. We just being a journalist, and that's what we know how to do it. They didn't agree, and they killed 2 of our colleagues in the same day.
At that time, did you start thinking, I better leave?
I wanted to leave, but I was young, so my colleagues went to the neighboring country, Kenya. And for me, I couldn't go. We were in Mogadishu, the capital city. So I went back home to visit my mom, my family, to be with them and just figure out what to do next. And luckily, I was offered a job in the northern side of the country. It was a little bit safer. It was good. And unfortunately, while I was there, About a year and a half, those group reached there again, and the same issue started. This time I knew I had to leave the whole country, otherwise I would have risked myself to being killed.
Were they actually targeting you in particular?
No, they were targeting all journalists.
Did they have a list of names or something?
I think they did, yeah.
And you might have been on that list.
Well, they called my number, so definitely.
Do you remember a time growing up in Somalia where it was stable, where it was peaceful?
Yes. When I was a student, when I was young, was peaceful. Everybody doing his own job. And peaceful, you can go out anytime, you can sleep anywhere. Was peaceful. Was a nice place. I could say that it was the safest place on the earth that time.
Wow.
Yes. In '88, civilian was fighting to the government.
What were they fighting
Different
over?
Power.
Yeah.
Power sharing, that's the main thing.
People called the former president of the country as the dictator. And there was 3 generals, and they wanted to take over, but they couldn't agree who was going to be the president. So in between them, the civil war started.
A father went to work in the morning, and mother goes to the grocery store, and the civil war broke out.
Was it real fighting, like guns and everything?
It was actually what you see in the movies.
Like a full-blown war.
A full-blown war.
You can see soldiers with uniform against the civilians. This really was.
Everybody ran, and nobody, you can't go back to your kids. It was a chaos.
Did you leave?
Yeah, I left
How?
by car.
You had a car and you just drove out of the country?
Drove out to Kenya.
And who was with you? Your wife?
No, friends. Sometimes you don't have time to talk to nobody. Fights happen, you cannot go even where you live. So you go anywhere you can go.
So you just ran and you
ran.
didn't even have the ability to...
No,
Couldn't even talk to them.
nobody talk to nobody. Some family, they were together, somebody, they're not.
And you were separated.
Yeah.
When was the next time you talked to your wife and your son?
A couple of months later,
Okay.
they came.
Where'd you stay?
Refugee camp.
What was it like living there?
Imagine if you are here in Columbus and suddenly war started. You've never been out of the Columbus, you've never been out of the country. You don't have enough money or enough transportation. Imagine if that happened to you and you go somewhere you don't even speak the language. What do you think when that happened to you?
It'd be scary.
Yeah. Most of them, that's the way they faced in that time.
A lot of people left everything they had behind because of the war in Somalia. And I could imagine it was particularly painful for people like my parents and my older siblings because they had a life going on when they literally just ran away from everything.
They had a home and some of the comforts of
Well, of course,
settling.
they had cars, they were driving, they were about to get, married or something. Some of them were in university. So that must have been extra painful, much more painful than for someone like me who was, when we left Somalia, 7, which, I could probably care less where we were going, as long as we were going somewhere.
Did you miss Somalia? Did you miss your...
Of course, anywhere you grow up, you cannot forget it, or born or raised, or, study, family, friends, neighborhoods. Sure, you're gonna miss.
Do you find that your faith has helped you get through very hard times?
Of course, because whatever coming to you is from God, either bad thing or good thing. So you have to be happy, whatever happened to you.
So you trust that whatever it is,
Yes, it
it's
is.
the right thing
The right
for
thing.
that time.
Absolutely. I know it was hard time, but I believe nothing happened to me, bad thing.
No bad thing has
No
happened
bad
to you.
thing. Yes.
It was all given to you by God.
Yeah, by God. That's what.
So it's okay.
Yes, okay.
Hearing firsthand what so many have gone through to reach the United States of America is truly humbling. It's hard to imagine what these courageous people have so bravely endured. Almost overnight, they lost all of the security that they worked their whole lives for. They've had to endure a life of nearly constant uncertainty and have often had nothing to guarantee a reunion with their family members other than hope, prayer, and faith. So you left Somalia.
I went to Kenya.
It seems like that's where many Somalians that were
Because
refugees.
it's the border country, it's easier to get there. We have a better relationship, and there was a lot of opportunity than going to Ethiopia or other places. And when I get there, I didn't go the proper channels, so I crossed the border illegally. Because if I had to request the refugee status, they would send me to the refugee camp. But I didn't want to.
You didn't want to go to the refugee camp?
No.
Why not?
Safety-wise, I didn't hear good things about refugee camps, and there was a lot of colleagues of mine in Nairobi who were already in the system with the UNHCR, figuring out a way to support the journalists that come into the country. So there was other things going on at the same time. But when I came to Kenya, I lost that sense of purpose. I felt like there was a gap, there was something missing. I didn't speak the language. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to be part of the community, involved in a lot of things. And right away, I enrolled some sort of ESL program to study Swahili. And right away, I started picking up. And there's this distant relatives that I was staying at their home. And the auntie decided to go back to Somalia. And when she told me, I was devastated because I was just getting used to life in Kenya. And when she said she's leaving, I didn't want to stay there without her. I remember one day I was watching English Premier League, and the commentator said something, South Africa just won to host the Soccer World Cup in 2010 for the first time in African country. And when he said that, I started thinking about it. And I had a few friends in South Africa, so I called them and I told them my story, and I asked you, is there a way to get there? And they gave me some suggestions, and I tried to apply a South African visa. I couldn't get it because the process was longer, and the Somali passport is not powerful, so nobody would give you a visa. So I ended up applying Mozambican visa, because it's the neighboring country.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With the help of smugglers to make a way to get there.
The smugglers put you on a plane?
Yes.
And how?
Well, they get the visa and everything. They have, they don't go the proper channels, but they do something.
But
I
they
don't
get
know
you
what
a fake visa or
No,
something.
they get you real, but they have a better connections than we do.
Pay somebody, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have cost me if I traveled from Nairobi to Johannesburg, like maybe $1,000, but instead I had to pay almost $3,000
To go to Mozambique?
to get to South Africa. So they did everything. So
Oh, I thought you said you went to Mozambique.
yes, but then they help you cross
Back
the
into
border.
South Africa.
Yes.
Ah, I see. So it's just a circuitous way down.
Yes. The idea seemed much better in my head than reality, because when I get there, I didn't know a lot of people. It was different atmosphere. It was. At some point, I was like, "What am I doing?" Along the way, I met an American lady from Ohio State that was doing a research, PhD.
Really?
She was comparing lifestyle Somalis in Columbus and Johannesburg.
That's an interesting study, isn't it?
Yes, and when I met her, I thought she was just gonna interview me. And she's like, no, 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 I want you to help me. I want you to be my research assistant. And I was like, I don't speak good English. I don't think I'd be able to help you. And she's like, no, no, whatever you have is enough. So she was like, I'll pay you. And I said, don't pay me, but here's what you can do for me. Teach me English, and I'll help you interviews and bring people for you. That's the deal we made it. The World Cup came. It was the most beautiful, magic moment in my life that I will always cherish. I was able to go a couple of the games. I was reporting live of the games every day.
For what station?
For
what?
Voice of America.
Wow.
For the Somali service. At the end of that year, there's some problems started, and there's certain of people that had a relationship with the extremist group, and they would see me doing this job, and they would always tell me, like, yeah, you can't do this, you can't talk to white people, you can't explain to our culture. My friend kind of suggested that I should, change my life and maybe talk to the UN Refugee High Commission. So they the one who do the resettlement program. So she said, go talk to them, tell your story. They might offer you resettlement. So I went there, I told them my story, and I told them the only place that I want to go was the US. With proof who I am and everything, still the process of resettlement took a year and a half.
Here.
No, before I even came.
Oh.
Because I can't go and apply American visa and right away get it and go. It doesn't work that way. Just coming here in itself, you can't even dream about it.
So when you came here to America, your wife and your son were already here?
Yeah, they came first.
They came first?
They came first.
How many weeks or months before you?
About 2.5 years almost.
2.5 years?
2.5 years.
I mean, isn't that hard to see them and say goodbye?
No, it wasn't hard because they are going safe place.
So you were relieved?
Yeah.
You're relieved that they're going somewhere safe? But at the time you said goodbye to them, you didn't know, you didn't think you were going to go in a week. You didn't think you were going to go in 2 weeks, did you?
No, no.
You knew it would be a while?
Yeah, I knew it was like 2 months, 3 months. That's what I assumed.
2 or 3 months?
Yeah. That
Oh,
was
okay,
actually,
so maybe that was why it's not hard, because you think, I'll be there soon. But 3 months comes and your papers aren't there.
Yes, it's not there. It's not ready. Something happened, go back. Wait.
Wait, 3 years?
3 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Wasn't that hard?
But you don't have a choice. It's either hard or easy.
But what did it feel like? Like, I don't know anyone in this country who's been separated from their family for almost 3 years. I don't know anybody.
Some people are separated 10 years or more than that.
More than 10 years?
More than 10 years. Living in Columbus, living in Minneapolis.
Waiting to see their sons, daughters, wives, husbands?
Husband, wives, kids. Mother, father.
I came to America in 2000 to find a better life. I left my children and husband and everything I know behind.
Wow.
Yeah, I left a 4-month-old baby behind to come to America.
Wow, so you sacrificed a great deal.
It was probably one of the hardest things that I have ever done.
And your husband was over there?
With them, yes.
And he was taking care of them?
Yeah.
But you had an opportunity to come?
Yes.
You got documents?
Yes, I used to work with international NGOs and things like that. And I got an opportunity through that to come. And we just really had to take it. It was a hard decision, but what was the alternative at that time? Life was difficult. It was back in 2000. We were living outside Somalia in neighboring country. And politicians were getting together to see if there was way out, but there wasn't at that time. It was completely divided. People were still fighting in some parts.
And it didn't look like it was going to get better anytime soon.
It didn't, yeah.
Was it your belief that if you came over here that you could establish a life and then bring them over?
Yes,
Was that the goal?
definitely. That's why we made that decision. He was like, if you go, you can establish yourself, and then we can all join you.
And did that happen? Did they all come over?
They did. They're all here.
How long did it take?
It took a while. Unfortunately.
A year?
No, it took a while. It took like 5 years.
So almost 5 years. You didn't see any of your children?
Yeah.
5 children?
5 children,
Or your husband.
yeah. So what had happened is that I came in, my process took a year. After I was accepted, I had to file for them. And then after I filed for them, and everything moved swiftly, I was expecting them in less than a year at that point, till September 11. This guy hired me in like 2 weeks. Not even 2 weeks, like week ahead of September 11. And September 11 hits. I had to walk like 40 minutes to get to where I work. And so this all happened while I was on foot, going to work. I didn't know what was happening. I come to work and everyone is upset, and my manager is really upset. And he tells me what's going on, and we all cry, and we're all scared. I was new, I was here less than a year, but this was home for me. I had no plans of any other place. I want to bring my kids here, and we were just bombed. So we cry, and we close up, and I start walking home. Mind you, I wore more clothes than this at that time. I looked traditional Muslim, traditional Somali. So I tried to cross the road, but it was red, so I stopped. And all of a sudden, a whole bucket, like huge glass of McDonald's drink, just someone from their car threw this at me, and I was hit.
Oh my God.
Right in the chest, and I really didn't know what happened. And the
horrible.
next thing was he was honking, and he was like, go back to where you came from. A lot of other people honk at the guy and yelled
At him?
and then the light opened, and they all just like
Drove away.
I lived with friends at that time, all Somali, and I'm like, this is what happened. And they're like, you're a crazy fool. Everyone is watching TV, and it says Muslim people did this, and so everyone tells me you can't walk home to work again. So I got it right to work next morning, and I come to work, and my manager calls me in, and he says, I got a call from headquarters, and we have to let you go. It's not safe for you. We talked, and I'm like, you think that's fair? Like, I just got this job. I don't know what happened. Why am I losing my job? He's like, it's not us. The management, they just don't feel comfortable. They don't know what to do. And I'm like, I'll stay behind. I'll try to be at the back. But if you let me go, you'll be hurting me too. And he was like, I see your point. I'll call them. I'll talk to them. And he talked to some people and convinced them. And I just had to stay behind and work at the back room for a little bit, but they didn't let me go, luckily.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah.
What a terrifying time.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wasn't safe at the street, but also at my job. I almost lost my job because I was Muslim.
Imagine finally arriving in this land of seemingly endless opportunities. And after idealizing it and struggling for years to reach it, you fall into the turmoil of 9/11. Worse still, you realize that those claiming responsibility for the attack share your Muslim heritage. You're afraid that you'll be seen as part of the problem, the enemy. You fear losing your job because of your religion. In this place where you've sought refuge from a terrifying background, you suddenly find yourself in fear of being an outcast. Yet somehow these incredible people keep a bright attitude and maintain strong faith that God is by their side. Will their patience, sacrifice, and hard work be rewarded? So tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
I am from Somalia.
What's it like there?
I've never been there.
Oh, you never been there?
I was raised in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
So I have no memory whatsoever about Mugda. I was just born there.
You were born there?
Just
But then
born.
your parents left when you were pretty young?
Yep, yes, the war happened.
Yeah?
And the Civil War, and we ended up in Sweden.
And how long did you live there?
All the way up to 2003. And then me and my family, when my older sister Sarah got married, we moved to England.
So you don't remember Somalia at all?
I have no clue of my own country.
Do you feel a sense of like Somalia's home in any way though? Or
Absolutely.
No? You do?
Absolutely. I speak very well Somali because of my mother.
Yeah.
That was the rule. The minute you enter the home, it's Somali, automatically. Whether she understands Swedish.
What about Swedish?
She wouldn't allow it.
Oh, because you were learning that in school.
We were learning that in school. She did not want us to forget. So that was not an option. She said, quote, "Step through my doors and it's Somali." And if you try to speak a little bit Swedish with her, what it would be like, you start Somali and then kind of dribble off the Swedish, she would act like she would understand you the rest part of it.
Oh, wow.
And that would be her thing. Hence why we speak very well, all my sisters.
What was it like growing up in Sweden?
The best.
Yeah?
The best.
Did you know a lot of Somalis in Sweden?
We were one of the first few ones that entered right after the Civil War. So it was not a lot of us at the time, but it was a group enough to have a little mini community.
But you lived there for a long time then?
Yeah, all the way up to 2003.
2003.
Yeah,
so...
that's when, if you remember, that's when around the time the European Union happened.
Okay, yeah.
So you could live anywhere if you were a citizen in Norway, Holland, Sweden, you could live anywhere, Spain, you know.
So where'd you go?
My mom, I did not go anywhere. She took us all to London.
Why?
Because she said better opportunities, business.
Uh-huh. Was your mother a businesswoman?
My mom was a businesswoman. Yes,
Okay.
she was. She was a teacher in Sweden,
Uh-huh.
but she was an entrepreneur.
How did she know she could go to London and open a store?
Community.
Oh, okay.
Word of mouth. So there's, of course, other people moved there and did what they told her. That's the great opportunity to open up a business, and she opened up a little store inside a mall.
What caused you to leave England?
First for vacation. First for vacation with my friend. She's like, well, let's go to America. I'm like, America, really? Where? She's like, Atlanta. And in 2007, July, we ended up in Decatur. And we had the best vacation.
So you loved America?
I loved everything about it. I loved the fact that everybody will wake up in the morning, whether they go to school, go to work, everybody has something to do. We were just shocked about the whole lifestyle of America.
Faye loved her vacation in America so much that she decided to move here. Initially traveling to Minnesota, she started a family and later moved to Columbus, Ohio. While pregnant with her third child, she saw an opportunity that would change her life.
So I'm on maternity leave and I'm trying to figure out, okay, Ohio, what is it to do here? And there was literally no way to snack, like cravings.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was nothing besides ice cream. And I couldn't believe there was no dessert options.
Just ice cream places?
Just ice creams everywhere.
Uh-huh.
I go to the Somali Mall, one of the cafes, and the issue is females don't go inside, which is different from Minnesota.
They don't go inside where?
They don't go inside the cafe. You go at the back and you order by phone as a female.
You don't walk into the front?
You can, but it's very, very intimidating.
What?
Too many men.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Too many men?
Too many men. It's awkward. I couldn't believe it. That's when I started speaking to people. And everybody, all the girls that I spoke with said, yeah, we're used to it, what can we do?
So was it like that they just didn't care about the women as much?
I wouldn't say care, it was the fact that why is it like that? Why do females have to go outside and order?
Yeah.
Why is it so awkward that women cannot go inside and order? They were basically forgotten, not purposely, but because they're outside, like a customer that's outside that you spoke to, and it's, of course the cafe was hectic and everything, but My initial issue was why outside? So I was like, what if I open a cafe where females could come in or order whatever they wanted? So I opened Ya Salam Cafe. Hi, Abiyar. Hi. It was a female-owned.
What was it called?
Ya Salam Cafe.
Ya Salam?
Ya Salam.
What does that mean?
Great, amazing.
Yeah.
I would say, if I'm corrected.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Means Ya Salam means amazing.
Yeah. And it's a cafe.
It's a cafe.
So you had pastries, tea, coffee.
Tea, coffee, sweets, crepes.
Yeah.
Everything. Yep. Juice.
Did you make it yourself?
Yep. And I had distributors too.
And did it do well?
It did so well because it was a female-owned.
And so lots of women came.
A lot of girls came, and now they didn't have to worry about whether they wore pants or they wore their school scrubs or work scrubs or nurses. They were okay with coming in because it's a female-owned.
Oh,
it's not awkward no more.
How long have you been in the United States now?
Almost 9 years.
9 years? And what do you think of the United States?
So there's two United States. One when you live in the country and one when you're outside.
Okay.
So one, you live in the country, it's like everybody mind their own business. This is your life. You gotta do what you gotta do. That's it. But when you're outside of the US, everybody believes that if you're Muslim, if you're woman, if you're Somali, that you're not allowed to do a lot of things, that you're not allowed to be successful. That's what some of my family members tell me.
Oh, they thought the United States was a place where you couldn't be successful as a Somali or as a woman?
They listen too much of the news.
So outside the United States, it's seen as very unfriendly to immigrants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or unfriendly to Muslims.
Because when I tell them who I am, they don't believe. They like, you dress like this? And I say, yeah. You drive a car? Yeah. You have a job? Yeah. No.
Now, you're saying that outside the country, there's an impression of America that's not correct.
Yeah.
Likewise, I think here in America, there is an impression of Muslim countries that's not correct. Some of those stereotypes that Muslims are disrespectful to women or don't care about women or women aren't allowed to be educated or aren't allowed to go outside or vote. How much truth is there to all of that?
Well, first of all, every country is different. And a lot of things has to do with culture. And that's the part that I feel like Americans sometimes don't understand. It's not faith, it's culture.
Right, so it's not the religion at all.
It's not, but
it's
for
the culture.
them, it's just everything has to do with faith. And I'm like, well, I'm from Somalia. 100% people are all Muslim.
Yeah.
And women drive. Women are part of parliament. Women have business. Women, I don't know, do everything.
Do they have all the rights that men have?
Exactly, or even more. If I'm married, I don't have to work.
The man's job to support you.
The man's job to support. And if I work, guess what? It's my own money. I don't have to support the family. It's not 50-50. And whatever I contribute, it's definitely, what do you call it, charity.
Yeah, voluntary, charity.
Exactly. So that's what for me, if I work, if I don't work, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's his job to support.
So a woman has the right to work or the right not to work.
Yeah.
But a man, he doesn't really have the right not to work.
No.
He has to work.
Yeah.
Okay. While we are all aware of the terrible oppression of women happening in some Muslim countries, such as Afghanistan, which is thousands of miles west of Somalia, I'm reminded that countries differ widely in their culture, and oppression has more to do with a country's culture than it does a country's religion.
Our culture, you cannot oppress a female. There's no such a thing. And then when it comes to the Muslim, that's not even an option. So again, we gotta differentiate cultures and the religion. Religion is one, but it's thousands of cultures.
The older I got, the more I learned the religions, the more it made sense that this is the right thing to do, is to cover up.
And that was your choice?
That was absolutely my choice.
That wasn't because you got married to some man who demanded it?
Absolutely.
When I go out in public, I actually feel proud of wearing my hijab because I'm doing it for God. So if anyone even has questions for me, I don't feel ashamed and stuff. I'm happy that they're even asking me. I'll answer them. Like, I wear it for solely for my religion.
I myself Even though like I might not know all the reasons why, although I do see many benefits to being modest, I know that God is the all-knowing, so that is enough for me. And to be Muslim, we say that you have to have faith, so even if you don't know all the answers, you go off of your faith.
When you got here, did you get a job right away?
Yes. I started security job. Then I moved to a stapler's warehouse.
A warehouse?
Yeah, a warehouse.
For how long did you work in the warehouse?
About 2 years. Then I opened my own store.
How?
I collected some money and I saved some money. Cost of living was cheap. I was doing good job for that warehouse. Then I opened a small meat store. The meat was cost here a little bit expensive. I go Detroit, which is a lot of meats. Deliver it here twice a week.
Did you drive to Detroit?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And you just fill the car with meat?
Yeah, I leave 3 o'clock in the morning, go 6 o'clock in Detroit, come back 8:39, open the store. Every Monday and every Thursday.
And what kind of meat?
Lamb, goat, chicken, and the halal meat, the kosher meat.
How did your store do?
I was doing great. Used to sell almost $10,000 a day sometimes.
$10,000 a day?
A day, that time.
Were you the only store?
Yeah, only Somali store that time.
And everyone found you?
Yeah.
You had the market cornered?
Yes.
Wow, so that's great. And so $10,000 a day sometimes. Yes. That's enormous. So it's like a line.
Yeah, always line, always line.
And how long did you run your grocery store?
About 8 years. The 10,000 become like $300 a day.
300?
Yeah, because they opened too many stores, too many.
Do you remember when your first competitor opened?
Yeah, I remember.
Was it nearby?
Yes, very close. A couple of 100 feet.
Couple hundred feet?
Only not that. The second one is also less than 100 feet.
Another one?
Another
third one?
Yes, third one. Same year.
Did it upset you?
No.
Didn't upset you?
No, never.
Why?
Because whatever he got it is from Allah, give it to them. Anything coming to you, nobody can change. Anything coming to me, nobody change.
So the competition didn't bother you?
No, competition built the business.
What do you mean it built the business?
Competition make yourself better, cheaper, you know.
Well, you know what you're describing right now?
Mm-hmm.
You're describing, I think, an undying belief in capitalism.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you believe in it?
Yes.
Because it became such a hit, I was like, let me take this to the mainstream, let me take this to the mall. Then I looked in and I'm like, okay, let me take this to Polaris. Did a whole proposal, took it to Polaris, and I took the concept and they loved it. And I started in a little kiosk. We were doing so great. I got so excited. The numbers was great. The pandemic happened. Now I'm completely, utterly devastated. Mid-January, news was happening, the talks was happening.
But you were killing it. You were doing
We were
good.
still killing it.
Yeah.
But then we felt the decline. And then the mall shut down. Corporate companies, restaurant that was there operating for 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, was shutting down. I said, okay, that's it. It was a great run. There's no way I would make it. I mentally, physically prepared myself to have my dream completely vanished. I knew because of the pandemic, the inside mall, dynamic has changed. Nobody was physically coming in because everybody was ordering online. So I'm like, okay, my concept is working. People like it, so that's important, right?
Yeah.
Now I have to fix the location. How can I fix the location? Well, Easton, it looks like an outlet. They have a lot of outdoor. So I reached out to Easton and said, I have this concept. I want a brick and mortar outside, and this is what I want to do. Any special flavors, or are we gonna freestyle today?
Well, I think I need to know what you like best. What's your favorite?
Strawberries
I
and
like
cream.
strawberry
and cream?
Oh, strawberry and cream, that sounds really good. Now, it's the same batter for all of them, I assume,
Yes.
right? Oh, wow. Oh, very nicely
My
done.
mom said it's not a crepe if it's not gold. The more strawberries, the better. You cannot be greedy with the fresh strawberries. That's where you get tart and sweeter.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Voila. Take a bite. Let me know exactly what you think.
Oh, wow. Really good.
That's what I like to hear. He can't talk. That's a good sign. When they don't talk, he's tasting the magic.
So, as part of the Somali community, they know about you here. They come and see it, right?
So proud.
Yeah.
They are so proud.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Yeah.
And because Easton Town Center, this is a very good mall.
Yes.
Yeah. So to be in here is
mall.
This is a prestigious accomplishment.
To represent my community, they were so proud. At the grand opening, we had a traditional dance right at the front of the door. They were so proud, and they were waving the flag, and I put almost tears in my eyes how well they came through that day.
Were you nervous before you opened up?
Oh, absolutely.
You must have been so nervous.
Absolutely.
It's like, I hope this works.
I hope it works, but again, having the support of my community, they were with me from day one, right? They were with me when I first opened up in the Somali Mall. They saw me grow. They saw me, mature while I'm, going into the business. And, the bigger the business gets, they saw me grow with it.
From what I've seen, the Somali people are very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
They're like their own boss.
Yes.
You have your own business. You have your own business. Everyone seems to have their own business.
Yeah.
We strive on that.
Yeah?
We have no problem. As what I've noticed with my Somali community is everywhere we go, we have no fear of starting from scratch and building something.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that you both have your own businesses is something from your heritage? Something from being Somalian? Or is it just because you're American entrepreneurs?
Yeah, well, for me, it was my mother.
Yeah.
I saw it from my mother. My mom, she was, she went into the education field first, but then she transitioned to what she loves the most as a businesswoman.
Yeah.
So did my sisters. Yeah. So I think for me, I grew up in that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then Aiden.
Yeah, this is the land of the free. This is the land of opportunities. So you gotta just take it and grab it, and run with it.
Yeah.
Go on.
We are in the global mall. This is clothing store. Both sides are clothing store. We go to this computer repair. And money transfer, yes.
A little of everything.
Yeah.
The Somali people seem to thrive in a capitalist society. They have the desire and motivation to build their own businesses, to be their own boss. They seem to courageously take advantage of everything the United States has to offer. They understand the availability of the American dream almost more palpably than many who were born here. It's hard to imagine people more courageous and business-minded than the Somali people I was so fortunate to meet.
People do a lot of things just to come to America. Because
So America's a big deal.
it's a big deal.
When you
People
live in
come-
Somalia,
everyone knows America.
what do people think about America? In Somalia, what do they think about it?
Back then, it was heaven. I guess close to heaven. It was where you can go and get better education, be safe, you know, make money, make yourself. That is the mentality that I came in with. That's what I told the processing officer. He asked me why. Why do you want to stay here? And I'm like, I want to make something out of myself.
I noticed that there's all these very famous foundational American documents on the wall: the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, all these things. So why? Why are these things on the wall of a restaurant that's a Somalian restaurant, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really like it, first of all, and I think it's just a message to show that we're American as well. Somalians are Americans.
Yes.
And we believe in this constitution like everyone else. And we want to remind the people this is the land of the free, and we're part of that free.
If I have to choose somewhere to live other than back home, Columbus is. The U.S. is. And I'm not just saying because I'm on tape. I just genuinely believe this. I've never stayed somewhere for 9 years, my entire life.
What do you love about it?
Oh, I love everything. I'm a true Buckeye, first of all. Secondly, I love the atmosphere. Columbus is not that chaotic like New York City or LA. I have friends all over the city, Somalis, non-Somalis, Muslim, non-Muslim, it doesn't matter. There's this beautiful verse in the Quran that it resonates with me. Let me say it in Arabic first. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. Basically, God saying, oh people, I created you, men and women, and I created you, tribes, nations, differences, so you get to know one another. For me, I like it because imagine if God just created us one look.
Boring.
You know, one this, one that. So it just, I tell this, I say, let's embrace our differences.
Spaghetti or rice, which one you like?
Rice. Okay, I'll try some rice.
Rice?
Yes, thank you. That looks nice.
I think they call it Somali chicken.
That looks really good. So, what would you like to change about the United States?
The way we want to see the change is through education, you know, and understanding. I think the Muslim community, they should strive and continue, you know, educating the American society and tell them exactly the Muslim religion is a peace. It is not a hostile.
Right.
That kind of hysteria should go out. You know, it happens, you know, and it happens from, you know, September 11. And that's what the Muslims are suffering, you know, time after time, because the politicians are using it. The Muslim community, they have to have resilience, they have to, you know, educate, you know, their American brothers and sisters, you know, and make sure they understand it, you know, what Islam stands for. It's a peace. And you can see, you have seen in front, you know, you have seen all the way you're traveling everywhere. It's a peaceful, you know, religion. Okay, it's not hostile.
We are different, so we are melting pot in the United States. We have different religion, different faces, and everything is different. And we respect each one about his faith. I'm talking about the unity and how to be tolerate each other. That's what I want to be changed in America, and it takes a long, long time.
What do you think, Assad? What do you think needs to be done to change the country, make it a better country?
I think it's good the way they are if they keep that way, not falling down.
It's a good country.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you've all expressed that you really love the country.
Oh,
That you feel like
This is our second home. We live about half of our age.
To some people, they forget the first one. This is the first.
This is the first.
Yeah.
We're supporting
It is.
our family. We're making business here. We're buying houses in here. Our kids
We
grow
love
up.
other
They're
than our
American.
country.
They don't know about different. than
Well, you're an American, right?
Yes,
You're an American.
Yes.
You're an American.
Yeah, we are American.
And you identify as being American.
Yes.
Naturalize it.
Yeah.
Everybody in here.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't even mean whether you're naturalized or not. Like, I know you're all citizens.
Yes,
I know that.
yeah.
But that's not what I'm talking
Yes.
about.
No,
I'm talking about
from the heart.
if you're here, American in the heart.
And honestly, it's a great country. It welcomes us, give us an opportunity.
Yep.
We have got everything. We shouldn't get it anywhere else in this world. It's the greatest country in this world.
You think so?
All of us.
All of
Yes,
us.
for people.
Nearly all of the Somalis I interviewed, these amazing men and women, without any prompting from me, declared that the United States is the greatest country in the world. This is the place where they can be themselves. The fullest, safest, freest, most complete version of themselves. Where they can be an individual, a family member, a friend, an entrepreneur, an American in the fullest sense of the word. I can't help but believe that just by spending some time getting to know our Somali American neighbors, each of us who calls ourselves American might feel a little more gratitude and pride. We can contribute more to this amazing country for ourselves, the good of those around us, and the betterment of the United States of America.